Welcome to Tips and Tricks for Cadcorp SIS WebMap. In this demonstration, I'm going to show you some examples of how to get the most out of your WebMap application, focusing on some ideas that you might not be aware of. I'll also point to sections from the Cadcorp online help as further references to what I'm going to be showing. So let's get started. Tip number 1. You might not know this, but there are two options for defining the behavior of the Get Feature information dialog. So in the map, if I click on a location, I get two results presented to me, and that's because I've got my wards data and schools data visible on the map. Where available, I will see the first two attributes in this dialog for every feature that is found. And if I want to see more information, I can hit the Show More button, and on the left-hand side we get the More Information dialog, where I can see all of the attribute information for this feature. Let me now show you how you can modify this behavior. In the admin interface for WebMap, you want to go to General Settings and Site Settings, and you want to look for the Feature Info Show Pop-out item. And I'm going to change the value from true to false and hit Enter to commit that change. Let's now go back to the map and refresh the browser. And if I interrogate that same location as before, this time we don't get the initial pop-out, but we go straight to the More Information dialog on the left-hand side, so I can see all of the attributes for this feature. But remember, we found two features last time, so at the bottom of the dialog, I can switch between the different layers, so I can see the results from the second layer in this example. For further assistance, on the Cadcorp online help, go to the WebMap Setup and Administration Help and search for Site Settings. And you can visit this page for more information. Tip number 2. In WebMap, users can perform spatial queries on data using search by area. But did you know that you can enable advanced search filters to filter the results of your queries? This change is made to the map.aspx configuration file in WebMap. Simply open the file in a text editor like Notepad++ and search for the term Search by Area dialog. At the bottom of this section is a parameter called Show Advanced Search Options. And we want to change this value from false to true. Remember, if you don't work with these types of configuration files often, take a backup before making any changes, just in case you need to revert back. So I'm now going to save the file, and we're going to return back to WebMap, and I'm going to open a new map. Let's zoom in to the area of Brighton, and in my search by area, I'm going to perform a query on house price data, and I'm going to draw my area of search on the map. When we get the results, we now have this advanced feature option available to use. So I'm going to use this filter to find any properties in the results where the price was lower than 100,000. And when I hit enter, the table is filtered to show me those results that match that criteria. For further assistance, on the Cadcorp online help, search for Search by Area and go to the Setup the SWD to enable Search by Area section. And then at the bottom of this page, you've got further guidance on setting up the advanced filter option. Let's move on to tip number 3, and this is all about copyright statements. Now in this map we can see the copyright statement for my Ordnance Survey base mapping, and in the statement we can see the year is 2019, which was actually last year. So let's go to the admin interface and look at the settings for this base layer. So in the admin interface we want to go to Layers, Manage Layers, and then choose the base layer. Now, to avoid updating the year manually every year for all of your copyright statements, simply replace the year value in the copyright statement with the text year enclosed within some percentage signs. Let's now update the layer, and if we return to the map, the year is populated automatically with the current year, and it will update itself when the new year comes around without the need for any manual intervention. Let's move on to tip number 4, and this is a really quick one. Did you know that if you hold down the shift button on your keyboard, you can draw a box on the map and the map will zoom into that area? You can also use the arrow keys on the keyboard to pan north, south, east, and west, and you can also use the minus button to zoom out and the plus button to zoom into the map. And this is to help you meet those website accessibility tests. Tip number 5, and an easy way of getting more use out of your WebMap application is making sure your users are aware of the data that is available within WebMap. The default ASPX page is a great landing page for all users to see what maps they have available to them. And you can provide a brief description for each map so they can see what each map is all about. And this is defined in the general settings for each map. So let's go to the admin interface and go to general settings. At the top here we have the description field where you can define your description for each map that will appear in that page. But you also want to check that you've got this close button option enabled. So if I now go to the map, I can hit close in the top right hand corner, and I'll return back to that landing page where I can then open another map from the list. For further assistance, on the Cadcorp online help, search for map settings and proceed to the map settings page. And finally, tip number 6, most web map applications will be customized to incorporate your organization's colors and logos. But did you know you can customize any of the text in the application to your own choosing? And this can be changed in the Cadcorp Web Resources resx file. So let me show you an example. So in the interface here, I want to change the text, what would you like to do, to something different like menu. So let's go to the resx file and find that text. So let's perform a search. I'm just going to search for the first 2 words, which is what would. We found the entry in the file, and I'm going to simply place the text, what would you like to do, with the word menu. I'm going to save the file and then return back to WebMap and then refresh the browser. And if you look at the top left hand corner, I can now see that the text has changed accordingly. Remember, please save a backup of any of these configuration files just in case you make a mistake and you need to revert back. Now for further assistance, on the Cadcorp online help, search for editing text and proceed to the editing text and translating web map section of the Cadcorp online help for further information. So that concludes my tips and tricks demonstration for Cadcorp SIS WebMap, and I hope I showed you some ideas that you can put to good use with your own web map implementations. If you require any further assistance with Cadcorp SIS products, you can go to the Cadcorp online help or contact us by email or telephone.